Hey guys, it's Max Convexity here. Let's go over this end of day update with these Defiance option strategy funds. First, let's look at the charts. Here's Russell 2000. These guys are, this is how the IWMY managers make money by selling Russell 2000 options. But look at this freaking face ripper today. First of all, we closed last night on the highs, and you know what I say about closing on the highs. Sure enough, of course, the night before we also closed on the highs or close to the highs. And the night before we also closed on the highs. So, it's telling you the market wants to go up. And sure enough, it's ripping. And it closed on the highs again today. Does the market want to go up again tomorrow? I don't know. It's been up the past 3, 4 days. We'll see. No guarantees. You could see last time you could see days where it closed on the lows, like right there it closed on the lows. Well, look what happened the next day and the next day. It closed close to the lows that day, but then it closed on the lows this day. Anyway, doesn't always work. The market closed on the highs there. The next day wasn't bullish. Doesn't always work. It closed on the lows there, and look at the next 2 days. Boom, boom, straight down. But then it gave you a close on the highs on this day to signify maybe it wanted to go higher. Like I always say, go watch Mike, the tactical stock scalper. He has the better information on technical analysis, but I like to look at certain things that I like to look at, and one of them that I really like to look at is how the close is. The close tells you a lot. All right, let's look here at, let's look at the spreadsheet now on IWMY. Of course, we would expect a full profit. That's what the spreadsheet shows, $657,000 profit. $657,000 profit, 13 cents a share, which is what they made yesterday and the day before. 39 cents in the past 3 days, and man, they needed it. We were underwater 99 cents until the past 3 days, and now they're only underwater 61 cents. They're still getting their ass kicked. I'm not trying to make light of it. Um, I'm sure they'll do better next month. It's just you can't win all the time. Even strategies that are really good winning strategies, like this strategy, just because you have a winning strategy doesn't mean you win all the time. I make the reference to the dogs of the Dow strategy. The dogs of the Dow is a real solid strategy. Google it if you don't know what it is. It's a pretty good strategy. There's been books written about it, and it's a great strategy. It doesn't win every time, wins a little more than half. It's a good strategy. To be a good strategy, all something has to do is make a little bit more than it loses. Now, nothing's going to win all the time. You can't expect to win all the time, or 90% of the time, or something. I just like to put the odds in my favor. That's why I landed on option selling, where you can win 60 or 70% of the time. All right, let's check out QQQY. These guys, let's look at this chart first. So we have to check out NDX because these guys trade NASDAQ 100. The symbol for NASDAQ 100 is NDX, Nancy David X-ray. All right. So these guys started above the profit box, and then by the end of the day, they finished about 3/4 of the way through it. So I would expect about a 3/4 profit. Let's see if that jives with what our spreadsheet's telling us. Yeah, the spreadsheet says we were going to try to make 1.3 million, but we only ended up making a million. Well, let's see how that happened. So we sold options at the 17,350 level. That's great. So we know 17,350 is max profit. But then we have to factor in one other thing too. What did we get for the options we sold? We got almost $83. You take $83 away from 17,350 and you have this number, 17,267. Okay. So we want a close between those two numbers. And the close was actually 17,330. So 17,330 is about 20 points inside of the max profit. So we're going to have to take 20 points off our expectation. Sure enough, and that's represented by the points in the money column. Points in the money is 1962 because they don't round like I do. They factor in the pennies. But so 1962 is what it would cost to buy those options back. So we sold something for 82, bought it back for 19. That makes a profit net profit of $1 million. That's really good, especially considering yesterday they made 65 basis points. The day before that, they made 46 basis points. Day before that was a loser, but then the 4 days before that were big winners. These guys have really been doing well lately. They just got off to a bad start. All right, so they made 6 cents a share today. That brings their monthly total up to 19 cents a share. So that's good. It brings their running total on cash to 2.6 million. I need to check that against retire on dividends numbers. It may be a little bit different, but I'll check that before I make my estimate. But I think that's pretty close. We're up a couple million right now. All right, so let's look here at Jeppy. And first thing we're going to do is we'll check out the chart of Jeppy. Jeppy trades SPX options. SPX is the symbol for the S&P 500 index options. Yeah, that's beautiful. Look at that. I mean, that's great. They dipped into the profit box for just a second, and then they finished out of it. So we would expect a full profit. But back to the closing on the highs deal. This day wasn't really on the highs. It was close. But on this day, they closed on the highs. That day, they closed on the highs. You know, like I say, it doesn't always work. They closed on the highs this day. And, you know, that wasn't a great one. But it is just something interesting to look at. All right. Let's go to the spreadsheet and make sure that they do have 100% profit on the spreadsheet. All right. Yes, on the spreadsheet, they were going for 332,000 and they made 332,000. So that just means they closed above the strike price. The strike price was 48.45 and we have a closing price of 48.50. So everything's cool. Everything jives. We're up 21 cents a share on this fund. So we still have a few days. I hope we keep the hot streak up going into these next few days. I mean, say they're making 7 cents a day, and if we have another 5 days, another 35 cents. You know, if we get hot and go up another 5 days, they could end up making 60 or 70 cents, which is what they made last month. They made something like, QQQY made 68 cents, I think, and they paid out 63, something like that. All right, guys, we shall see. I'll be back later with my new report. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's a good one. The tracking error report. I need to think of a better name for it. That's not the catchiest name in the world. Maybe I'll work on that. But I'll be back later with the tracking error report. I hope you guys can check it out. It's interesting to look at, I think. And then I'll be back tonight with with my late night show, and we'll go over the option positions for tomorrow. All right, guys, have a wonderful day.